Lovely morning and warm welcome to the program. Only Awiyo is my name. Over the past few weeks, the Naira has appreciated from a record low of around 1,900 to a dollar to 1,148 Naira, prompting the U.S. Investment Bank, Goldman Sachs, to pronounce it the best performing currency in the world in April. This has come as a reprieve to many Nigerians who have been battered by the negative effect of the depreciation of the Naira against the dollar. One of the areas where Nigerians have felt the pains of the weak local currency is in the prices of goods and services. Prices of everyday goods, including staple food and household items, increase with every visit to the market. This also manifested in higher transportation costs, utility bills, and other services. But why haven't the prices of goods and services come down since the Naira has strengthened against the dollar and other major global currencies in the past few weeks? This morning we could find answers to that poster, and my guests are already here. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll take a program. Please do stay with us. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, the program is Business Today, and today we're taking a look at the Naira that is also gaining strength, while prices of commodities in the market are also going up and not responding to that. Naira is also appreciating. To have in the studio to do justice to it today, I have Mr. Olatunde Victor, a financial analyst. It's a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Yeah, blessed to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Let's take a look at what is also going on. The Naira is getting strength. Why prices of commodities are also not responding to the Naira?
So I think there are a few things that are very important to understand when it comes to the economy. The FX market is quite a different entity from the commodity and the local market. So when the FX is about to increase, it is relating to a number of things around maybe oil scarcity or availability in terms of crude oil export, is relating to whether the Naira is being floated or not. Now, those are a different ball game from the local commodity space, even though they can influence each other. So the Naira that has been in the recent time is basically because the government decided maybe not totally defend the Naira, but they decided to walk around, making the market willing buyer, willing seller, space, so that they can actually regulate, what is going on there, then policy with the banks and the BDCs and all that. That has been really helpful. But this is something that happens in the economy. When prices of things are going high, people quickly increase prices because of restock value, because they know that if I sell something at lower price, I'll be able to restock. But when people now see that price of things are, maybe the FX has reduced, which normally should never affect a lot of commodities, because it's the only product that should increase should be things that are imported or things that are manufactured because cost of diesel and all that. Now people are not about what is going to happen again. Is this a real appreciation? This is an artificial appreciation. If I say the Naira has gone down to, let's say, 1,800 now to 1,200, and I decide to sell my products at the present level, what if the Naira goes back? So people are the ones behind the non-responding of the product, because it is now a speculation thing. So nobody wants to sell at a loss.
We don't even have the confidence in the stability of the Naira.
Exactly. So the confidence has not yet, until the Naira, the negotiation now, on is about a month or 1 to 2 months. People see that this is where they no longer go when to the already dropping prices, manufacturers are already dropping prices, lack of dufil and all that have brought down the price really. So by the time you check the market, you see that some products are already coming down, cement and all that, in a number of commodities manufacturer to distributor. But if the retailers are still getting it at a relatively high price and they're not sure of the restock value, they may not sell at a lower price. So average of about.
So the prices of the naira have also gone bad. The markets have also increased their prices.
So that is basically what this is about. It's a speculation thing at this point. Nobody is sure of what it is. I mean, I wrote on my Facebook page, I believe like for the year. Really like one five for six. What is that more go back in. It will fluctuate at some point, but it will still come to a point that it will go less than 1,000. And I said before. Parallel markets, and I think the CBN has done a good thing to ensure that the parallel market is not so far from the official market. So we just have about 30 naira maximum of 40 naira, then about that is reasonable. But like we said, the fundamentals still remain that oil prices still have a very major effect on FX, right? So the production and all that, the volume that's being made out, all that will affect inflow of FX, and that also affects maybe level at which the CBN can meet some demand. So the fluctuation will still be there. But the other thing is for the naira to remain at that level, let's say 1,000 naira, local production has to increase because we have to reduce the dependence on what we're importing. So if, for example, manufacturers are importing sorghum or they're importing maybe corn for their product, it will mean that the fundamentals are still there. They still have to use FX to do that. So pressure is still on it. But we have to now work around ensuring that local production increases. So, and which is why I think if you get what the CBN governor said sometime last week, earlier this week or last week, was mentioning that they found out some fertilizers from the last regime that they can now put, and they push it to the Ministry of Agri now for them to actually push them into production. So agricultural production has to increase because non-oil export has to also increase so that we can gain the forex market. So it's a chicken and egg problem.
But let's take a look at the policies of the CBN.
Yeah. Very sorry for the time in the road. I mean, some that will still be improved and all that, but we are getting to see that some policies are very reasonable. For example, we don't need a large number of BDCs. We don't need a large number of. Many of them are licensed. Those that are licensed, some of them are doing bad business. So a number of them have been delisted already. Made sense. And then the policies that say you cannot have more than so naira on top of what we're selling to you. I think that is a really, really solid one, such that if you go beyond that, and I think there are measures in place to also sort of discover those that are doing that. And then, as much as we may not like it, and many don't like it, the online platforms where where the exchanges go on, the crypto platforms and all that, they were very, very they were a major part of your problems. Not because they couldn't exist, or not because they shouldn't exist in the first place. I mean, they should exist if they can, if they are well regulated. But we have stations whereby people just announce and say, Naira is now 1.6, and then that goes viral among everybody that's buying, and then before you know it, it's affecting. So as much as many Nigerians that are profiting from that, from the arbitrage and all that, don't like it, some of us are actually okay with it. I mean, we're not saying don't let those platforms exist, but we're saying let it be regulated so that they are not so far from the official rate. We can't be pushing all the government, all the reserves, or all the money into financing FX requests, and then a lot of money is going through other platforms, and they're actually speculating. So I think CBN has done a good work on that, and really.
We have also discovered that some of them have also responded to the strength. We also have
this was it will take some time for the whole economy or the whole industries, and it is industry by myself. Over time, the CBN is able to maybe double down on what they're doing now, and have lesser level of fake news as raining fake exchange rate that's affecting the BDCs and all that. Will be fine in a short while.
And the coming in of Dangote refineries also helped a great deal because Dangote has also brought down the price of diesel.
That is relative. We may not be able to say that is a critical part of why that has affected, but yes, local supply is always helping. I mean, the more you have volumes, out there, we're able to make local, local requests. Definitely, there's some level of growth. So yes, the coming of Dangote refinery is actually very helpful. And I think one or two refineries in Port Harcourt and all that also doing some amazing work locally. So if we can solve our crude oil problem, I think it would be a very, very huge multiplier in the economy. Two major problems we just basically need to solve. I mean, apart from all this, we have a lot of problems, but you can solve that of local supply of fuel, and we're able to regulate the price, and we're able to have it lower, so that manufacturers don't have to spend their millions and billions of fuel.
I asked that question because of the cost of production.
Exactly.
So the price of
if it can go, manufacturing will also come down the cost of, and then we also need to work on energy. Whether there's band A or band B or band C, some of us in some bands, I was telling someone, I said, our band at the category. I mean, I went to the and we have less than 3 hours a day, and I'm like, wait, so I can imagine. I mean, I used to facility. I mean, it was called generating plant in my factory, and you can imagine that we run that from night. I mean, where I'm going to put out, in a way that I will lose. So that's the way it is. We have to not even either. We have to work on ensuring that the diesel prices actually come lower, because most manufacturers use diesel, right? So energy becomes better. I'm not sure what is being done in the energy space here. By this particular event. I think we're still okay with that diesel is responding. Yeah.
Well, the real concern of people is that some of the major food items,
they are still not coming down. I personally think that there are two sides. I wrote this on my Facebook because I analyze a lot on Facebook and Twitter and all that. And I said some of it's legit. So let me give a simple example. Gary, we don't import cassava. Cassava used for Gary is mostly for Nigeria. We rarely import cassava. Yeah, so you can't tell me. I don't understand why Gary uses it, because it's not like, number one, you don't plant a new cassava now and use it 3 months. That's not so majority of the cassava that is being used to produce Gary right now has been maybe planted about 9 months, 8 months or a year ago, and they're being harvested. So you can't tell that the price of cassava is because of it, just because it's not being imported. It's okay, great using these another way to agree. How can Gary just move from 100 what is the occasion? I can't for example. Understand why ton of cassava has become. So the occasion is that enough production. So to move towards getting more from
because there's no cost. Those in the bakery industry are also tapping into
it. So and I think Ministry of Agri, commissioners and ministers, they have to just work. And actually, and this is one thing we don't have. In each of the states, what commodities are being locally more, which ones are being exported, which you need to have data to track these things. If we're talking about, let's say, wheat, for example, which volume is being used locally by local manufacturers? Which volume is being exported? If we see that cassava is now at a shortage, and because cassava is now experiencing more exports, whether as starch or whether as, maybe flakes or whatever, then we need to put more effort in getting more cassava produced.
Exactly, getting more cassava produced because
That is it.
Because it's going to be a kind of policy somersault.
Yeah.
You're going to allow those non-oil
do you get it?
commodities exported.
Yeah.
They need to also export that.
They need to bring in more money. You're not exporting because the export market is more enticing. If I can, my Gary of maybe 1,500 in Nigeria will still sell for 3,000, 4,000 in the US. So I would rather want to export.
Exactly.
Now, if I'm exporting, but we don't have enough production locally, there's still a problem. So they should go to look into that and say, okay, the commissioner agreed. Let's say, for example, Ondo State, we're talking about the data. It has just been shown now that there are the top 10 states in Nigeria with the highest food inflation are above 40%. And it is shocking that Southwest is part of that. Ondo State and Osho State. Ondo State is about 43.5% inflation. Tell me why we should have 43% inflation in food in a state like Ondo State. And the soil is good for plantain, soil is amazing for cassava, it's amazing for many other products. Even tomatoes. Why get tomatoes we sell in Ondo State from maybe Lagos? The question and a few other maybe experts, maybe like us and other people, right? How can they come together to see what can we do to push more volume into storage? These are the things that should be done, because at the end of the day we can be saying the price of things are not going down, but it is not totally just the FX matter. We are also really shorting the cultural production across the whole country.
The school of thought has also attributed why prices of commodities are not responding to greediness. That's because the price also respond to what you have to have.
That may be true and that may be false, right? Yeah, now I was from because they don't know the economy is not so make more money. That's true, but you can also attribute it to fear of will I be able to restock. So if and like I mentioned the other time, if I bought it for 1,005 and I'm selling for 1,008, and I bought my last supply at 1,200, I want to sell at 1,005. But I saw that yesterday Naira still went back to this. I would rather want to not sell at a lower price. I want to maintain that price. So it's a two-way thing. There is a real fear of restock value, but it's that other side of greed where people want to make more money and all that. So it's two-sided, but we cannot just generalize and say it is all about greed.
Because we also experience area where
people that why this is now not protection agency, protection and the price regulatory really needs to come in now. This also, yes, force put loss. On the other side, regulates prices at level. What do you say? That should totally in range. Okay, you know that generally, what is your? You're not a situation where something is more expensive in 1,000 units than this in Lagos. You're trying to take for right. Transport. Yeah. Transporting it. It's not like the old profit or of the old just one. So there has to be, I think the price regulatory services need to come on board now. They are not enforcing people to make laws, but they should work around some regulation, because otherwise there are some middlemen that will actually take advantage of this whole situation. They buy at least 500, they sell at 2,005 to the retailer.
Is it also possible to also eradicate this what we refer to as middlemen?
The middlemen? No, it's almost impossible. We don't have an effective online market system in Nigeria that would make middlemen not exist. Because the only thing that brings about absence of middlemen is maybe in a place like China where you have almost everybody is online.
Because it looks to me that the middlemen are doing more harm than good.
Relatively yes and no. So I'll give you a simple example. If I'm a manufacturer, I need about, let's say 1,000 tons of maize to produce per day or maybe per week. Now, I tell farmers to come together. I cannot buy from one or two farmers, one by one. I would rather need an aggregator to aggregate them together and supply me. Because he can go to the villages.
So the aggregator becomes a middleman.
He becomes a middleman. And as a manufacturer, I'm first of all thinking about profits. Even though I'm thinking about, yes, everybody, the economy should be fair, everybody should be good. But I'm first of all thinking of my supplies. So I need a middleman to do that, right? Because there has to be an aggregation. But they've been our farmers are online. They can display their product and say, oh, I have, what's it called? And there is an effective logistics system also. That, oh, maybe on that same online platform, they can also find a logistics person that will ship it and all that. But we also know that shipping is cheaper when it's in bulk. So an aggregator or a middleman has to put it together and then do the bulk shipping so that it can reduce in price. So price at farm gates even from at the final price and all that. So we can't really eradicate that, which is why we say, you know what, let there be some more level of digitalization, across the country. Let there be more effort around letting there be transparent markets and open markets. It's a far journey from where we are, but I think it's really possible later on, but we're not yet there.
The other example is this, the federal government gave grains to farmers.
Yeah.
And here in the state, the poultry farmers actually got 1,200 metric tons of grains.
Yeah.
There again, they also pronounced that the prices of the eggs will come down. And the farm gate for 3,000 per crate. But we're here to get
so I would say that before that has an effect, we're looking at a minimum of 2 to 3 months. It can't be in the immediate. So because
But they go to the farm gate and also get at the lower price as we speak.
Yeah, but the eggs that they have already produced on ground was produced at the high cost. They paid high volume, high cost for the feed.
What I'm saying is the farmers are ready to pay and to sell at the lower price.
If the farmers are ready to sell the eggs at a lower price, I mean, kudos to the government. But from what I know, it will take some time.
So it has not reflected in the real market price when you go to
the
market.
Because the people that are in the market maybe already had stock that they bought at expensive volume, and they'll not tell you and say this is the difference between the new one and the old one. So like I said, it will take like 1 month before those things come down. Maybe regulators are not going to the market to say, oh,
so what exactly do you think should be done? Because people are also not resting. They also agitating that the prices should come down.
I think the Price Regulatory Commission, the Commission in charge of Price Regulation, needs to start in and send all their, actually they need to do market sampling across the country. Send all their agents and all that and check prices of things across different markets and different states. What's the average? And then they should be able to come up with, okay, some kind of model to say, okay, we are not saying that sell at a loss, but for this kind of particular commodity, we're expecting this range. We're expecting this range, we're expecting this range. At that level, they also, of course, have to find a way to ensure that, these are not necessarily affected by the FX, things, especially things that are not imported. Honestly, there is no need, there is no reason for us to suffer high price commodity for things that are not imported. There is no reason. But again, this is Nigeria, but if the Regulatory Commission can come into play, and then we can also have every state really, get to the point of helping the agricultural production side of things. Even they can even just subsidize. I don't want to use the word subsidize, but they can just push more value, provide more financing. And we did a survey in those states.
Or supply input.
Yeah, we did a survey in those states. We're having a competition. We're having an accelerator program competition going on in the state right now for those state businesses.
Okay.
We have a target of 5,000 businesses to support with access to finance. We brought in banks and all that to support businesses. But something has happened. About 40% of people who are surveyed are in agriculture, but about 70% of them need access to loans. The question is, where have they been looking for money before that they did not get? So the government has to ensure that the BOA of Ondo, the Bank of Agriculture, is really functional, and they're providing finance to agriculture, so there can be real production. They have to work with organizations like SMEDA, they have to do Osrc and all that, to ensure that yes, there is real financing of this commodity production locally. Otherwise, if we're still shipping from Lagos and Kano into Ondo State, it won't go there, and we'll still be one of the highest inflated states in the country.
I've also engaged with some members of Osrc, where they said they also do when it comes to production. They also mentioned tomato and also of the cassava.
Yeah, they're doing well in tomato. We have conversation as well. They're doing well in tomato, but the result of tomato is just one of the vegetables.
But yet they are still bringing tomato from enough.
What about pepper? What about onions? What about potatoes? We still bring them from the north. Well, in fact, onion is just starting. They're just starting to produce onion in those days now. It's accounts where it's going, but it's not enough. So there has to be more support.
In the last 5 minutes of the I've been speaking with Mr. Olatunde Victor, a financial expert, and also the producer here in Ondo State, and together taking a look at the Naira gaining strength, why prices of commodities are also the big stubborn. I want to thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us on the show today.
Well, thank you very much.
Azava is going to be on the show today. Join us next week for another one. Only is my name. Good morning.